Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
What's up, guys? Ryan here at Torsion Talk podcast, and I've got some announcements for you. First announcement, Virtual Door Dealer Conference is back. I should have the landing page up by the time you guys are ready for this. So matter of fact, I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast. So if you're listening to it, click on the link for Virtual Door Dealer Conference. I believe the link will be virtualdoordealerconference.com/2024, or it might be just 24. But we'll put that in the description. That'll be a landing page to register for Virtual Door Dealer Conference. We've secured a keynote. This is gonna be a little bit different than before, where we did like a multi-day event online. We got a lot of feedback, and it was really difficult for business owners to be like online for 2 days. Although we did a really good job, and I think we maintained a high percentage of people through the days, we still are trying to just cater to that. So what we're thinking about doing is having more events virtually, but smaller. So like what we're planning to do is the first half of the day being for everyone, GDU and Markenuity, what we call you heroes. Those folks will be prioritized. They get in for free. It's only $150. We kind of did the math of what we're spending. We technically need probably $1,000 per person, but we're gonna just do it at $150. We don't really care if we make money on this. We want to just give back and do as much as possible to feed and make the industry better and develop more leaders. And so that's one. 2, we want to do something special for our Markenuity and GDU members. So we got a keynote. I'm going to be speaking. The focus is going to be leadership development of your people, how to work your way out of the business, and really honing in on the details of that and what that looks like, so we can give you the vision for that, and then you can leave going away. Now, the second part of the day is just for Markenuity heroes, and we're going to be focused on some of the things we've learned, some of the changes in the marketplace, and some of the things that we're doing over the next 2025, and what we're doing new and fresh now to be better. So we've learned a lot over 2024. It's been very testing. Marketing is shifting a lot quickly. SEO is changing a lot quickly. So we're having to be on our toes. It's also shifted a lot of our systems and processes and the way that we handle things. As we've grown and gotten more clients, we've found some gaps that we're working on fixing. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff at Virtual Door Dealer Conference, and we don't know if we're going to just call it, whatever, State of the Union, Markenuity, whatever. We don't know, but it's going to be a second half of the day would just be for Markenuity heroes on the marketing side. And then don't forget, we've got the summit in Puerto Rico in March. This is going to be your workation. If you are stacking cash for the year and going to pay taxes on it, you might as well just register for the event. We literally only have like 8 more seats left. I think we have 2 or 3 of the all-in packages, and then we have the rest are standard. Almost all of our all-in packages are sold out. Those are usually the first to go. And then we have some standard. It's a beautiful resort, super high-end resort. Everything's included. So you got breakfast, lunch. If you're all in, you got dinner. The room's included. You can stay extra days. We got entertainment planned. I'm working on booking a catamaran if we haven't already. One night, we're going to go out and watch the sunset in the ocean on the catamaran, have a few drinks, some laughs, good time. We're talking about setting up a salsa dancing class for husband and wife, because so many people are bringing their spouses. Like we're going to get some of you big old fat white dudes out there shaking them hips with the ladies, bringing back those memories of when you guys were young and having a good time. So bring your spouse, have fun, enjoy it, shake them hips, embarrass yourself, have a few drinks. It's going to be great. So we're working on all that stuff, locking everything in. Oh, by the way, the content itself is going to be life-changing because we're going to help you change who you are for the better. We're going to improve on things that we need to focus on. We've got Willie Robertson coming in. We got a bunch of great speakers, garage door related. And I think it's going to be an incredible, impactful week of content. So, and a great getaway just for you because you don't get out often. So you deserve it. Set yourself up for success. Start working on it now. Plan it, block it off, and let's get something scheduled. Okay, so let's get right into it. I'm going to Charles, if it's okay, or Robert, I'm sorry. I'm gonna shift this. I talked to you earlier about kind of like a process. Yeah. He recently had. I'll just address kind of the elephant in the room. And I don't want to be like that guy. And I haven't been, right? I've kind of kept my mouth shut as far as like how I don't want to be a hater. So I'm not a hater. And so I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't really made a big deal about this, but I think there's a point in time where we have to say something, and now's the time to say it. So this is going to combine a little bit with what Robert and I are going to be talking about today. But recently, all the GDT pages on Facebook were purchased by a gentleman. I'll leave his name out of it. You guys will probably figure it out later. And I was at a event for marketing agencies, kind of like a mastermind, similar to GDU. And we were walking into an event, and I was talking to this gentleman. He seemed like a really nice guy. He was talking about how he's getting into the garage door industry. And I don't even know if he knew who I was or what I did or whatever. It didn't matter. But I've always tried to be an advocate for dealers and try to bring things up when I think they're important. And one of the things that's plagued our industry is spam and abuse in Google Business Profile. And we've got a bunch of different entities doing this, right? So this isn't just the only person doing this. So I don't want to throw the whole microscope on this one person. And I honestly can't blame them, to be honest with you, because there's days where I, like, if I had hair, I would pull it out because how frustrating it is working with Google in their Google Business Profile department sometimes. Although we've had a lot of success, it's still sometimes very frustrating. I feel like they're understaffed and overworked. So this gentleman, starts telling me his business model is he works on Google Business Profiles, and that he's got 2 employees who are paid by him under the table, $60,000 each. And he's not the only one paying them. His buddy, who apparently introduced him to them, is also paying them, which makes me believe these people are probably getting paid by 3, 4, 5 people, $60,000 a piece, and they are absolutely crushing it, right? These people are making a ton of money. Now, what would they get in exchange for this? This gentleman tells me that he has the ability to get things approved that do not have to go through the same process as everybody else. He can get accounts taken down. And I'm trying to remember the exact words he used, and I'll be honest with you, that it was vague. And I also started to lose my head a little bit, and I was getting frustrated and angry, and I think it was projecting. I could be wrong. But I just remember being there with the founders of the mastermind, JC and Karen Height, and this gentleman. And so while we're talking, I literally feel myself shaking inside. I was getting so angry. I was ready to pop. And I may have even said something to him that probably wasn't polite. I don't remember, quite frankly. I just remember like I walked over to JC afterwards when this gentleman wasn't around, and I just like vented because I had to get it out. So this gentleman has been, seen in photos with IDA members, president of IDA, like he's posting it on his social media. And, he's getting booths at the IDA conferences. And all the while, like, this is what I need you guys to understand. I don't know to what extent he is manipulating Google Business Profile. I have no clue. So don't hear what I'm not saying. I also don't think he's a horrible person. Right. So I'll put that out there too. What very much frustrates me is that as marketers, I think we should all be playing on the same playing field. Number one. Number two, if he has interest in a specific account that's paying him, and you're number one in that market, what do you think's going to happen to your business profile if he wants his client number one? Now, you've spent 20 years building your reviews, building your profile, ranking at number one, doing all the right things. And then he's got some new hotshot that wants a Google Business Profile in your town who's not even living there. And he gets it approved and somehow manipulates it to where it's ranking number one above you because he's paying someone under the table. This is the type of corruption and dishonesty and manipulation that we are trying to get away from. Yet we are not vetting these people. We are embracing them. IDA's embracing it, allowing him to buy a booth, taking photos with them. Like, you got VLO embracing him to a degree. You've got he just bought probably some of the most influential assets in our industry, which is the GDT pages. And I'm shocked at the point to like, no one's going to vet this guy. And he's like probably been in the garage door business for like a year-ish, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And we just like, we don't vet. Like we're not vetting, and we're just embracing, which is great. I love that. We're full of good-hearted, hardworking people. But at what point do we have to put a microscope on people and say, hey, listen, is he a good guy or a bad guy? Because our industry is full of bad guys. And so, and when I say bad guys, I just mean people who are taking advantage of the system and manipulating things and doing things not the right way, not playing on a level field, doing black hat practices, and great for his clients, right? So that's awesome. But what about the rest? What about everyone else, right? What about the hardworking people? And so if he owns the group and you say something or do something or you piss him off, you don't agree with him, like to what extent can he manipulate your Google Business Profile or hurt your business? And I know I'm taking a risk even doing this podcast, right? Because I've got some Google Business Profiles that I eat off of. But I think it's more important that we bring the attention to the matter. I'll survive. I'll make it. I've got other ways that we generate business now. We're way more diversified than we've ever been. But at the same time, like, this is the reality of the situation. So either he was lying for whatever reason, and that's not the truth, which I guess could be valid because I know some people do that, right? Or he was telling the truth, and I'm not sure which one's more damning, but but I'm open to the reality and what the truth is. And until we know people, we probably shouldn't. If I just see like a lot of validation coming from him, where he's trying to validate himself by posting pictures with the president of IDA, and now he's buying these pages. And so when you're trying really hard, like I wouldn't see a lot of value in, no offense to IDA or the president, in posting a picture of him. Just not a lot of value there, unless I was maybe trying to be perceived a certain way. So anyway, long story short, that's out of the way. I don't view myself as wanting to be active in those groups anymore. I don't know the future of those groups. I don't know if he intends to keep me in the groups, especially after this podcast, which is fine either way. But I can tell you that owners group, I love a lot of the people in there. I've learned so much. I try to provide as much as I can as well. So for that very reason, I started another group, just because I was uncertain of the situation. I also don't believe in the values and morals of the person that now owns it. And so I started Garage Door Entrepreneurs, Owners Only. And I think the owners, manufacturers, managers group was full of a lot of spam anyway. And so if you're interested, come join the group. If you're a business owner or an inspiring business owner who wants to learn, I'm okay with that. But like, just know your place and bring value. And if you're not bringing value, then we're probably not going to keep you, and you're not going to get approved. So anyway, we're going to keep it clean in there. We're going to keep it positive. I've got a great group of admins already set. And speaking of admins, one of them's here. Robert, before all this happened, and this came to light, you stirred up a little bit of a storm. You posted. Yeah. I love it. Actually, I think it's interesting. So, you and I had talked before about you coming on the podcast, because I think you have an interesting story, a little bit of history. Yeah. And so I want to cover some of your story. And then I want to talk about, before we dive into that, let's talk about this post that you made that stirred up a little bit of a storm in that group. What did you?
Yes, I was the one to post it. I believe the individual you're talking about is the one that might have posted it. So I own a school. It's spelled SKOOL. It's run by Sam Ovens. I didn't name it, but I created a community separate, like you.
So can I say real quick? Yeah. A lot of the people misunderstood, like, school, SKOOL, is a platform that you can build a community on, very similar to Facebook, right?
Correct.
It's like a coaching program, or like a content creators platform where you can do teachings in school, like schools type stuff.
Correct.
Educational platform. So he didn't name school, by the way. School is a platform that he built on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And you could do anything on there. There's people who do therapy on there. There's people who do knitting. There's stuff. I mean, it's just any group. And so what Sam did is he built it away from Facebook groups to build more of a community. So people are rewarded if they comment, if they like, if they share, they get points in a leaderboard. And the more points they get, they open different levels within that school and they get free stuff. So unlike a Facebook group, the Facebook algorithm, which most people don't know, if you don't constantly go to that Facebook group and are commenting, its algorithm, hey, they are no longer interested. Let me stop showing them the posts of this group. So if you can build a big old group with 12, 15, 20,000 people, but every time somebody posts, they only get 1 or 2 likes, is because the algorithm is not showing them the content because they're not visiting it enough. Right. So Sam Ovens built school, and now you have people going in there every hour, every couple hours, communicating. They're trying to build up points. And it's a very, very active community. So I had built one separately called Garage Door Launch. And so the post you're referring to is, my background is in Facebook ads, advertising, paid advertising. And so I'm running Facebook ads for that school. And one of the gentlemen inside the Garage Door Tech Facebook groups took a screenshot of it and said, look at this. Who is this guy running this school? And it just started a whole plethora of comments of who am I? Why do I have the ability to do this? Am I qualified? Blah, 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 blah. So they think that that was hurting me when in reality, everyone was commenting. And now people started to move from that Facebook group into my school. And so my school is not anything trying to replace IDA or any trainings or any places that actually do hands-on training. It's more for the absolute beginner who wants to learn about garage door repair. And so inside there, the first 12 or 15 modules just teaches the basic repairs for free. Spring changes, cables, rollers. It's more for handymen who don't want to be handymen and they're working hourly. They want to use their skills for a more profitable business model. And, you know, my generation wants to be YouTube stars, TikTok stars. They don't want to be hands-on. So that's why HVAC, that's why plumbing, that's why garage door. There's just not enough people to do the repairs and the garage doors break every day. So this school, school.com/garage door launch, they go in there, they can do it for free. They can learn all the repairs for free. In the event they like doing the repairs, they're good at them, then weeks 2 through 5 is more the paid one-on-one consulting with me. And I teach them more the business aspect, getting an LLC, how to get business insurance, how to run Facebook ads, Google ads, sign up for Google LSA. And then now where I'm at to where I have 3 contractors. So I teach them how to hire subcontractors, how to be the brand and the face of the business. And they can no longer do the work. They just grow the business and the guys do the work. So that's all that school is. And I stirred up a lot of people's feelings on it. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Either way, attention is attention. And I was growing by 10 or 15 members a day. So it worked out in the end for me.
That is awesome. So walk me through, like, when did you come up with this original idea? How long ago was it?
2 months ago. So in the original idea, I'd been on school in a couple of other different schools for Facebook ads or just stuff that I liked learning from other people. And there's one guy on there, Brad, who 17-year-old kid out of California, had 153 members in his, and he charged $97 a month. So he was making 15 grand a month as a 17-year-old. Super awesome, like good for him.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit more research, and he is the son of the gentleman on YouTube who's popular for garage door training school. I think he sells a $1,500 repair school. That is his son. So they're just making a ton of money. Good for them.
Around in a van or whatever, showing off bags and stuff.
Yeah. And so in his, you know, he was charging $97 a month. He was only teaching 4 repairs, torsion conversion, off track, little stuff. And I was like, you know, he's got a lot of people joining, but he's not really teaching all of the repairs. Some people could get hurt. And then also I didn't feel right charging people to learn the repairs, because you can go on YouTube, every single repair is on there from somebody for free. The repairs are not the hard part of the business. The hard part of the business is building the business. So I'm going to charge for that knowledge, but I'll give away the free stuff. And so that was just motivation of, let me build my own school, see if people like it. It took me multiple weeks, 2.5 to record all the videos, just going into my garage, you know, open up the door, cut the cable, make it go slanted, and then record, hey, how would you fix this? Right? Put in old rollers and, you know, swap out the new rollers, do springs, everything. I actually have, so the one video I don't have in there is extension springs, but my parents in Dallas have them. So I'm going to Dallas Thursday, see the or that video. So it's just framing all in one space instead of various YouTube videos. And, you know, some people like it, or some people are doing the repairs and they're just, the torsion spring scares them. They don't want to work with it. So they don't go on to weeks 2 through 5. They don't want to actually build out the business. But, you know, I would say a good 10 to 15% of the members in there do, and they're reaching out to me, and then I move them into a more one-on-one. We have weekly calls. They have my cell phone number. I had one student yesterday literally FaceTime me from a customer's house, which I told him, you know, you need to practice to not have to do that as the customer's watching him. And so when he's doing the torsion spring, he set the cables and he's pulling down on the bar, and I'm like, backwards. You're unwinding it. No matter what, it goes up. And he was like, oh, and so he reset it. You know, I was on FaceTime with him, and that's what they're
reverse outside pickup.
Yeah.
I remember going to a job. It was weird. It was really weird. Overhead door had installed a low headroom track
on a door that was like it was a big door. It was like 18 by 8, heavy. And I arrived, and this was like, I was only in the business for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months. And I get on the job site, and it took me a minute to like pay attention, but they had swapped the drums, did reverse outside pickup, and you literally had to pull down to wind the springs because the springs were flipped, right? And so it was like super awkward because I had all this muscle memory on like up. And so it took me like the whole first spring, I was like, this is so awkward. And it was very like, I was just afraid somehow I was going to hurt myself because I couldn't process it. Like, it was just weird, but I figured it out. And I was like, hey, dude, I said, you have all this headroom above here. How do you feel about me going high lift? I don't know why they did these tracks like this. And he's like, oh, that would be awesome. He's like, you think we could open my gate in the back of my SUV? And I was like, yeah, man, I could get it to go straight up and you won't hit it. He's like, let's do that. So we ended up selling them high lift and converting the whole thing. And so I thought that was cool, but very, very awkward.
Hey guys, I found something that changed my business and I want to share it with you. We've created packages that have included some of the best products in our industry to offer our service customers. The heart of that package is Stealth Hardware Kit. Stealth Hardware is the quietest hinges on the market. I challenge you to buy at least one of these, test it for yourself. Put it on your truck and design a quiet performance package for your customers willing to pay for a better, smoother running door. Buy your Stealth Hardware Kit at Service Spring, do a search for quiet hinge, and then buy that. You can buy a double or single door, 7 or 8 foot tall, and promise you, it'll change your service forever.
Somer USA and Somer Group want to thank you for an incredible year and the trust you put in them and their products. As you know, Somer places high value on relationships, education, customer service, innovation, and professionalism. And they are grateful to you for your part in the fostering and dissemination of these values. If there is any way Somer can support you in your journey, whether through their products, the values they hold to, or the knowledge Somer has gained through interaction with door dealers across the world, please reach out to the team at your convenience. They are here to serve you. Again, thank you from the entire Somer team. Check them out at somerusa.com. Tell them Ryan sent you.
So, like, you're investing all your time. Your time's super valuable, but you're also running a door company. Why free?
So I learned that from one of the co-owners of school, which is Alex Hermosi, big marketing guy. And he said, for right now, you're not making any money anyways. So why initially try to charge for it? Provide as much value as you can up front. And there's two reasons. One, provide as much value as you can up front. And then by the time you charge for something, people literally feel like, oh, he's giving me so much now, I owe him money. That's one mindset of it.
That's great.
Right. Two, like I mentioned, the hard part for what I feel is not the repairs, it's building the business. So the easy stuff is the repairs. So getting people to learn properly how to do the repairs and not pay for it. And so it's just a free entry into, hey, could I really do this? Could I start it part-time? Is this something I want to make a real venture out of? And if they do, then they pay for it versus me charging them $100, $200 a month to go learn the repairs when, they might pay that money and they can't really afford to do it and they don't like doing the repairs and now they've wasted $200. So it's just, I always feel better about giving free upfront value. And then if you now know me, like me, and trust me, and you're willing to work with me, if I can get you jobs, which I've had students get jobs within the first couple days of learning the videos and learning how I do the organic marketing. And now they're like, oh, wow, I didn't pay him and he got me jobs. How big could I grow if I actually pay him for the one-on-one consulting? And so it's that mindset shift of upfront free value, and they'll actually work with me. So it's much higher conversion in terms of giving the upfront value and then working with me one-on-one.
Bro, that's awesome, dude. Good for you, man. So
so I do that on the side of my own business. It takes a ton of time to build an active group and answer messages. And so It's a little
It's hard
overwhelming.
to scale that too. Like, I know you probably have a plan for the future, but right now you're not charging, but you really don't have any overhead. You're investing a ton of time in it. And as it captures more and more of your time, the question then becomes like, how do you delegate your time between your door company and growing it? You said you're kind of the face of it, so you're probably creating content out there.
Correct.
And so how do you?
So whenever my guys do a job within 15 or 20 minutes, I just have it set up this way. They will text me, hey, we're about 20 minutes out. I will drive to the customer's house. By the time they're done, I shake their hand. Hey, thank you so much for working with us. I put the sticker above the garage door button. I collect the money and we take off. And so I try and do things that other companies won't do, maybe because of the size of them. But it makes a little bit more of a difference. And I get almost a review every single time just by doing that. I hand them a business card that's got, hey, if you give us a 5-star review, I'll give you a 6-month tune-up. Here's the QR code. They scan it, goes right to my Google business page because I don't pay $60,000 to have other people do that for me. So I have to get one by one the Google reviews. And so that's just my method of working and being the face of the business. Then yes, they see me on the organic, the videos I create, the Facebook ads. So
that's crazy.
I'm running it.
Good for you, bro. I sit here and I think about, when you did that, I started looking at it and I was like, immediately I was like, man, this is cool that this guy's doing this. And then I was like, wait a minute, he's doing it for free. And I was like, why would he do it for free? Like, this is valuable content. But I like your answer. I like your answer. Like, I'm bought into your answer. I think it was a good approach. And then
I've had 3 students now say, hey, I love doing the repairs. What can I pay you to fly to you and learn in person? So without me even trying to advertise, they want to come to me. And so I'm like, well, all the stuff, my garage door is brand new. I just put a brand new opener. It's got new rollers. So let me figure out, maybe I can find or do some philanthropy and I'll put out a Facebook ad and maybe find 10 people that want free garage door repair. And then whenever those houses, they get in-person experience and I'll get a review or something. But, just bite up, give up. Students are now wanting to fly to me and learn the training, hammering. I already got some ideas for the future.
Okay. We're getting a little bit of, I don't know what it is. Never heard it before, but it's like skipping, I guess, on your side through audio. So just be aware of that. I'll let you know if it gets to be too bad. Are you still with me on the internet side? Did I lose you? We're having some technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Got it.
All right. I believe we got the technical difficulty figured out. So we're talking about this program that he started and all the success it's having as far as like activity, which is part of the challenge. He removed an obstacle to get people to buy into it, which is very difficult these days. I mean, there's a lot of noise out there. And so when I read it, I was talking about how I was excited about the fact that you put yourself out there and you're doing that. And then on the flip side, you're even paying for ads for a free program, which is also an expense to it, right? So you're into it financially, monetarily, and then you're investing your time into it. And there's a monetary value of your time as well that you're investing into it. But, then I started reading comments and I was like kind of shocked by how many people were like really hating on the idea of this, right? And then you posted a reply of like why you're doing it for free and kind of gave a really good explanation that kind of showed the heart behind the situation. And I thought, man, this guy cares, right? Like, I think we all have selfish motive, right? Because we want to advance and we want to grow, we want to build wealth, and we want to develop as a person. And so like I don't give people a hard time for that because I think more people should do that. More people should embrace it. I was just shocked by some of the negative comments, and then your reply brought a lot of clarity. And that's when I was like, man, I really like what you're doing. I hit you up on Messenger and was like, dude, good for you, bro. Like in a day and age where a lot of people have imposter syndrome, or like you work in an industry that's so freaking critical, like like the garage door industry, where anything and everything you do is criticized. I mean, I've been criticized so bad by people, and especially in the beginning. Still to this day, I get like some haters, which is crazy to me because yes, I'm probably not perfect for sure. Not probably. I'm definitely not perfect. But at the same time, I have good intentions. I've got a good heart. I want the industry to do well. I want my competitors to do well. I don't understand why you would hate on that, right? Like,
Sure.
I want the industry to be pure and clean. I want us all to be on a level playing field to a degree, and then let the best man win. And I think that is not too much to ask. So I advocate for all those things, and I try to bring awareness to things that aren't right in the industry, and I try to hold accountable for things.
Yeah, the main post was that my reasoning, if anybody else didn't see it, was if you watch some videos on YouTube, the individual who runs the garage door training school, good for him for selling the program. But his last video 7 or 8 days ago showed how he did a sensor job and it was 100% profit because the job before, whenever he did an opener, he didn't change the sensors. So he just takes the products out of the bag, doesn't do the complete job, doesn't swap everything for brand new, and then he resells it, and he's proud of that. So students who don't know any better learn that, and that's just really bad for the customer. So that also motivated of, let me teach you the right way to do it. The sensors are $12. Go buy brand new sensors and make sure your customer is happy and you don't have any callbacks. So
yeah, 100% agree. So let's change the subject, flip the script a little bit, and let's chat about your background, like how you got into garage doors. What's your background and how'd you start your company and all that?
Absolutely. So my background is teaching, funny enough. So I was an elementary school teacher for 8 years, taught PE, absolutely loved it. But now with how the economy is, whichever way you go, it's very, very tough out there. It's very, very expensive for everything. And teaching is underpaid industry. And so I'm very handy. I fix everything in my house besides HVAC. I don't know how to do that, but I'll do the plumbing. I've done sheetrock. And I was like, man, I really want to use these skills. It's a natural skill for me to be able to fix something. How can I do that? And so I looked into becoming a handyman. I actually bought a handyman course that I found on Facebook ads and just realized that's a huge competition. Everyone's really a handyman. Everybody can paint. Everybody can hang up some pictures. I don't want to compete based on an hour. Yeah. And so compete on an hourly rate. So what can I do to focus in on one industry? 3 days later, after thinking that, our spring broke.
No way.
I have no clue how to fix that. So I had a local company come out, fix it, watched him the whole time. And I was like, man, he was here for 15 minutes. And I also don't know how to switch rollers. So I wanted it quiet, $100 for rollers, and I'm out $400. And I'm like, that's a good industry. How do I do this? Right? So I was like, man, that's really a lot of money for how quick he did. And I've never had an issue with that, the part, right? So did a little bit of research, saw the guy online, didn't have the $1,500 to buy. So what I did is I reached out to 5 or 6 different companies and just said, hey, I want to get into this industry, but I have no idea how to. Can I be free labor for you? I will sit in your truck. I'll hand you a flashlight. I didn't know the parts, right? I'll hand you whatever you need and just let me watch you and ask questions. So I found one local guy on Nextdoor, sat with him for 2.5, 3 weeks, went to every single job, helped him out. And then by the end, he was showing me and allowing me to do the work. And I was like, man, thank you so much. And then was like, man, should I start my own company? I have imposter syndrome. I really don't know how to do the business, but I know how to advertise it. So let me just practice the repair some more. Did every single repair on my garage door, take off the spring, go get a drink of water, put the spring back on, go have lunch, take off the spring, repetition. And I became really, really good at it. I was like, let me just try. Let me not start an LLC. Let me just try and make a post in my local community. So I posted on our Facebook group, hey guys, I'm teacher right now. I want to get out of it. I want to start my own garage door repair company. I'm trained enough to do roller changes and lubrication. I can swap out the astragol and the rubber and all that stuff. Who wants free service in exchange for a review? So I did 10 or 15 free jobs getting comfortable, going into the garage, learning how to do the work. And then I started getting reviews and posts and, hey, I worked with Robert at Strongman Garage Doors. Go with him whenever the spring broke. And now I start charging for springs, and it just blew up within the community. I'd say 90% of my business is within 3 miles of where I live. So the local 3 Facebook groups I don't own, but I own. So if a spring breaks, I'll wake up to 15 or 16 tags of, hey, Robert's in our area, he does spring repair. So I don't have to advertise that much. I'm in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yep, I'm in Houston, Texas. And there's big guys around me. Garage Door Doctor is right next to me. They got 3,000 5-star reviews. Awesome company.
Ryan Johnson, both admins in the group. As
long
as you
love Ryan. Yeah. And so, oh yeah. And they were, I think they're just purchased by A1, which is a $1 billion company.
Yeah. They're, that's a,
so really good. Yeah. I just do my local.
I've watched Cody. I mean, you're talking about someone who has been a freaking sponge to an extreme, bro. I don't even know if that guy sleeps. I feel like he just studies the garage door industry 24/7. I mean, it's crazy.
And he's still doing the jobs. He's got a huge crew, but I will see the pictures of him smiling with his little, doctor uniform on. That's an owner who is just proud to be an owner and proud to work with customers. It's really cool to watch.
He loves it. All right. So,
yep.
So you're doing free jobs, you're getting reviews, you start your business. And then how long ago was that?
That was 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay.
And that was just part-time. So I started it to where I was still a teacher. I'd work from 7 to 4, and I was getting calls while I'm teaching and I just had to be like, I'm sorry, I have a couple jobs today. I can't get to you till 4:30 because I didn't get home till 4:30. So then I would just stack jobs 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30 until 9 o'clock at night. And at the point when I did that, it only took 4.5 months to make the same monthly rate, if not more, than teaching. And then I quit my job May 31st of this year. And so I've been doing it full time for maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But it gets worse. So I'll mention my story. So yeah, I know you know about it. It's just like I work for 7-8 years. I'm working 9 to 5, and I finally get be an entrepreneur, work for myself, do it full time. I'm doing 15,000 months May. And then May 31st, I had 6 jobs that day. Very tiring, hot in Texas. And so I have dinner like 6:30, turn over my phone and somebody else is calling me. I'm like, man, I'm a hustler. Let me go get one more job. So I go, and it's a multi-million-dollar house, wood overlay, 16 by 8 door, and the cables had slipped off. And so the problem with this, which is now why I have SOPs of like, I do everything in order, do all my checks, certain things, is I rushed the door to where I thought the cables were on, and I thought the door was hooked up to the opener. Turns out the cables were off of the drum, and it was also the emergency cord was pulled. It was just up by itself. So for whatever reason, at that time, I didn't set safety clamps. I was just trying to figure out what was wrong with the door, see if it was stuck. So I push up on the door, and then it starts to come down. So wood overlay, 16 by 8 doors, 500 pounds. It had 2.250s on it. So the last thing I remember is I try to catch the door, and it breaks my leg. The door continues to fall. It falls on my pelvis and stomach. And I kind of wake up, come to, and the homeowner's absolutely screaming because she's watching me do it. So the door had broken my pelvis 9 places. I still have actually, I won't show you, but I still have a colostomy bag. So I have a reversal surgery in December. It broke my spine, the last little piece of my spine. And then it cut the intestines in half. And so I lost like 9 inches of intestines. All because I was rushing. I didn't set my clamps. And I was like, well, let me see what's going on. And just a stupid decision that now cost me, 6 months and $300,000 that the insurance had to pay to do that. So just crazy to go from teaching to being finally an entrepreneur, work for myself, and then in the hospital and in and out for months. So doing better now, but I think everything happens for a reason. So now my business is actually bigger than it's ever been because I have 3 subcontractors. I'm answering the phones. They're doing all the work. And I actually get to be the face of it, but I just like doing repairs, and now I can't lift more than 25 pounds or go and do, big jobs. So crazy how all that happens.
That is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, crazy.
it kind of forced you out of the field, and you say you're growing faster than ever.
Yes.
That's interesting because, a lot of guys aren't out of the field in 3 years.
Right.
And you got out of the field at what stage was it? 2.5?
I mean, it was 2.5. Yeah. And then 34 days into running the business full time, and, by force. And so, because it was the way I feed my family, I had to figure out a way. So I was able to find contractors on Indeed. They wear my shirts. They put up my stickers. They don't collect the money. And that's why I'm actually go out and meet the customers. And now I can stack, we had 7 jobs today. And so they're out doing the job. I'm just not going this time to see them. And, the money's still coming in. I'm still getting the reviews. And so I'm able to just pivot and be a business owner, not a self-employed, to where I can work on the business, not in the business. Yeah. And if I have, a local job to where their rollers come out or the spring is broken, I will go and do it. I just don't do it full time now. I answer the phones. I do all the social media. I do all the marketing and organic paid stuff, which is nice. I'm at home. I have more time with my child. It's very rewarding to do it. Just a very, very painful way to get that transition.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think our listeners are probably going to make some assumptions here, right? Like, hey, wait, you were only in the business for 2.5 years with little to no formal training too, right?
Yep.
And
right.
So the question then becomes like, were you fully equipped to be doing repairs?
I've
right.
Those DMs.
But,
sure. Yeah.
But here's where I think like this is a great example, because I think we put people in trucks and then we don't really train them. We just have them be like a helper and then we cut them loose. And the same thing could have happened to them, right? Because we're not formally training people. We don't have good formal training processes and safety. Like not all companies, but a lot of companies in the door industry kind of do things the same way. And so now that you've had that happen, it's probably put things into perspective for you. And I could see that also being a motivator for you to be like, just being a teacher, and you seem kind of like a very heartfelt person. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. So I'm going to share it with, and to the core, that's like, and who I am. And I'm making assumptions about you, but I make a crap ton of mistakes, dude. And I do a podcast. And sometimes I've even told things on my podcast that I thought were right that ended up being wrong. And it's like, hopefully not everybody just assumes everything I say is golden, which I don't think is the case. But we're learning together. And then I openly share my mistakes and shortcomings because I think it helps other people. And you doing this school, I think is probably very similar. I don't know if you share that story with people in your school, but to share it and talk about how unsafe it is and how being smart and taking your time before you touch anything is like
absolutely
vitally important, especially on those big doors, right? So
yeah, and I tell them in the videos, if you don't think you can do it, don't do it. Don't rush the job just to make the extra buck. Call in some help, or if you don't think you can do it, tell the homeowner, be honest with them. I'm not equipped at this moment to do this. I can refer you to somebody else, or I can come back with more help, or
and never try to catch the door.
Never try to catch. I could just get back, right? I wasn't thinking. I was thinking, oh, wood overlay. It's got 2.250s, 500 pounds. Like you don't think. You're just like, oh, I want more money, and it cost me a ton of money. So definitely learning experience. I tell them that.
And your insurance would cover the door.
Right.
And, although that would have sucked, it would have been significantly better.
1,000%.
Yeah. So how did, I assume you had mentioned earlier, you learned like paid ads and stuff through this school program that you joined?
No. That was previous to teaching. So I had worked for companies and I was doing their advertising. So that was my background, doing paid advertising, YouTube ads, TikTok ads for various companies. I did it for security camera companies. I worked with a bunch of realtors to get organic lead generation. I worked with insurance agents to get exclusive leads. And so that was just my background. And so it's just crazy how this transitioned from, that's also why I teach the repairs for free, the basic stuff, but my pure expertise is in the advertising and growing, getting organic leads and not paying for Thumbtack, not paying for Yelp, not paying for shared leads, learning how to run your own within the area that you live to be the only person people recommend. So
that's awesome, bro. We have a lot in common, and I think we have a lot of the same passions for helping people. You're taking a slightly different approach than I, but the podcast is very similar. When I first started in the industry, I was active in these Facebook groups that are now purchased, but I quickly realized that a lot of these, like I was learning a lot about the door industry and about the technical aspect of doors as well. But a lot of people were asking questions that were business related or marketing and sales related. And I came from the business side of things. So that was more of my strength. So I shared information until eventually people started messaging me, asking me like almost the same questions all the time. And so how the podcast came about was like, one day I was like, man, I'm taking so many calls. It's hard for me to manage my own business, probably similar to where you're getting. And I thought, you know what, if I had a podcast, like I could address these things and just send the links and not spend 30 minutes on a call, because I was talking to, some days I'd have 2, 3, 4 people hit me up asking me to jump on a call, and I try to jump on a call with everybody. And the next thing you know, it's like 2 hours of my day is gone because I'm helping other people. And then my own employees are suffering because I'm not helping them. So I did the podcast to try to be more efficient and address more things and just put out free content that helped. And it's helped me so much, like with my relationships with people in the industry. And, you know, it's crazy because I'll go to like IDA Expo and people will tell me like, I feel like I know you already, even though we just met, you know, because they've listened to hundreds of my podcasts. And I genuinely feel like we have somewhat of a kindred spirit, just because I think we view the world very similarly. And, and you're kind of in the beginning stages of what I did. And so I wish you well, bro. And if there's anything I can do for you along the way to help you out, you know, let me know. I love people just sticking it out there and like giving it a shot and not being afraid to fail. And you're doing that, right? And so I just want to cheer you on and support you. I think there's plenty of room for content creators and people to help make the industry better. And as long as we're raising the standard and not being the guy, you know, flashing the cash and pocketing, you know, photo eyes or paying Google employees under the table and manipulating things for good small business owners, I'm 100% on board, right? Like, so anything I can do to help you with that process, I would love to do that. And I think you've made this a great podcast. I think a lot of people will get a lot out of it. I think it'll be interesting. And so appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate it as well.
Yeah, man. So guys, if you are dreaming of doing something and you haven't done it because you're afraid it's going to fail or what people are going to say, I would take this podcast as an opportunity to just challenge yourself and try something. And if you've got haters, good. As my man Robert says, they're just going to help the algorithm, right? So I create content that helps the algorithm by creating haters. Maybe that's the magic sauce. I don't know. But thank you for following along with the podcast. Be safe. Be a great leader. Sign up for VDDC. Sign up for Summit. And we'll talk to you soon.